Hello learners, I am Punita Malhotra. So today we are going to talk about activity-based teaching, turning challenges to opportunities. The challenges, dear learners, that we face every day in the classroom is the time constraint. We have to cover the syllabus and lecture method becomes our first and foremost choice because the time that we have, it is in accordance to time constraint becomes our first challenge. We have to cover the syllabus and the activity based learning often consumes more time, so we resort to lecture method. Another challenge in activity based learning is indiscipline. Students get a lot of freedom and therefore there is a issue of discipline. There could also be discomfort due to the physical environment and disinterest among the students if they are not interested in the activity that is going on. So, in order to manage the classroom and make the activity-based learning interesting and joyful for the students, we have to tackle these challenges. Classroom management is all about tackling these challenges. It requires the ability to plan, control, and facilitate interaction in the classroom that is appropriate to the activity and promotes learning and takes into account different needs and abilities of every child. There are various categories of classroom. The classroom can be a dysfunctional classroom environment where no teaching can take place. This could be due to the physical discomfort as well as indiscipline by the students. Another category is adequate classroom environment, where the physical discomfort is not there, but there is some level of indiscipline. Some amount of teaching takes place here, but it is not up to the mark. The last category of classroom is an orderly classroom. Orderly classroom can be due to restrictive learning environment, where the teacher has the central role and restricts and disciplines the children, more of a lecture kind of a classroom that takes place. The second example of orderly classroom is an enabling learning environment, which we are looking at. Activity-based learning is basically an orderly classroom which has an enabling learning environment where the children are active learners instead of passive learners in case of restrictive learning environment. So, in an enabling learning environment takes into account two important features: that the physical environment of the classroom is conducive, there are infrastructural facilities as well as material resources available, and there is a humane relationship in the classroom. Whether it is the teacher-student interaction or the student-student interaction, in both the cases, it is a free and friendly interaction that takes place. The learning in one case can be a self-paced learning using CAL and specially designed instructional material, assignments, etc., which is specifically aimed at a particular child's need. Another type of learning is group learning, which is activity-based and occurs in small groups. This is what we are focusing on in today's lecture. Group learning has a number of challenges. There can be absence of cooperation among the participants, unequal participation where the child who is very bright gets to do more of the work and the one who shirks work does not perform at all. There is also pressure of performance. The low achievers are under tremendous pressure to match to the level of the other members of the group. Immediate evaluation of the outcomes may also be a premature form. And there is changing decision making at every step. So we need to turn these challenges and make the classroom a successful one. How to manage such a classroom? The principle for management of group learning are that the group size should be around 4 to 6 students and the group should be heterogeneous. A suitable task should be allotted to the students, which is according to their age and cognitive level. The teacher should give a free and the teacher should provide a comfortable and free atmosphere for the students. All members of the groups should get equal opportunity and there should be a specific responsibility laid out. Like a team member can be made the group leader and other responsibilities given to each of the team member so that nobody feels left out. It should be ensured that the peers help each other out. The instruction that the teacher gives should be clear and simple, and there should be a scope to respond to suggestions and give suggestions. Keeping these points in mind, group learning can be successful. How to manage group learning? First, here the teacher is acting as a facilitator. She does not have the central role. It is a child-centric form of learning. So it is important to form the groups, facilitate communication in the groups, and consolidate the outcomes of the learning in the groups. The formation of the groups depends on the type of activity that we are choosing and the outcomes of the activity. Suppose, for example, the activity is on mathematical concepts and operations. In this case, the teacher can group the students according to their ability. That is a homogeneous grouping. And each group can be given tasks according to their ability. Like the group of students which are above average can be given difficult and challenging tasks. The average students can be given simpler tasks, and the ones who are below average can be given tasks which are quite simple and give them motivation. The low ability students can be given simpler tasks which give them motivation and take them to the next level. In this kind of grouping, we have to ensure that labeling is not there. Second example is when we want to do multiple activities simultaneously. In such a case, we can group students according to their interest and assign them tasks according to their interest area. The problem with such grouping is that it has a limited use and can be used only in one or two areas like art and craft, clay modeling, dance, singing, etc. If we want to have activities across subject areas, then we need to group the students differently. One of the way is group the students according to their choice. This will definitely ensure better teamwork, but the problem is that some of the students will be left behind. In order to avoid such a situation, random grouping is a much better option. Random grouping is preferred across subject areas to do different types of activities. It is a type of grouping in which the groups are heterogeneous. That is, the group consists of high achievers, average achievers as well as low achievers. Here, the interaction between students of different abilities takes place. There can be some issues with this type of grouping. The high achievers may feel demotivated as the task will not be challenging for them. And all team members may not contribute in such a situation. Still, random grouping is considered to be one of the best forms of grouping for any type of subject area and activity. Next, we come to communication in groups. Again, depending on the type of activity that is to be done, the group can be teacher-centric, as you can see on the left, where the teacher is directly interacting with the student and it is a teacher-student or teacher-student group type of interaction. There is no interaction between the groups. Such a communication can take place where the grouping is homogeneous. The second type of communication is where the groups interact with each other as well as the teacher. Under the class management comes the space management. The classroom space can be managed, the walls, the bulletin boards and the entire classroom can be decorated and used for providing information. One of the most important thing that each one of us is concerned about is time management. As in the beginning, I said that the basic challenge with the teachers is that they need to manage time so that the syllabus is completed and covered on time. And activity-based approach requires a lot of time management. In order to manage time in your activity, you need to plan your activity stepwise, ensure that all material required is ready before you enter the class. You need to give clear and specific instructions to the students. The arrangement of the classroom according to the type of activity that you have designed is very important. Ensure all students have completed the task before you leave. The sitting arrangement of classroom depends on the type of activity that we have designed. If it is a demonstration, then the students can be placed in a U type of arrangement wherein all students are able to see what the teacher is demonstrating. You can just look at the sitting plan for demonstration. Each and every student is able to view what the teacher at the center is doing. If it is a group activity where you are planning to make specific groups, then there can be two types of arrangements as shown under the group activity. One where the groups are arranged and the teacher is at one end. The second is where you need to make the groups interact with each other and debate type of a situation is there. So the teacher is at the center and the groups are arranged. In the second case, when you have a debate like of a situation, the teacher is at the center. So the sitting arrangement has to be in accordance to the type of activity you are planning. Therefore, for an effective class management, the points that we need to keep in mind are: plan meticulously the learning activities, provision of material, sitting arrangements, and assessment strategies in advance. Provide a learning-friendly environment in the classroom. Ensure that each child contributes and there is individual accountability. Monitor the progress of each and every child. And the most important thing is ensure discipline. This will make your classroom effective and group learning will become fun, as well as it will not also take on time. So, the teacher can move from lecture mode to group learning activities where the students will become active learners. This was all about the management of the class while doing group activities. So learners, we'll meet for the next lecture now. Thank you so much.